We've all been there. You misplace your keys for the third time this week. You walk into a room and suddenly have no idea what you came in for. You're struggling to remember the name of someone you just met. And in that split second, a quiet, anxious thought pops into your head. Is this just a normal part of getting older? Or is it the first sign of something more serious, like dementia? That line can feel blurry and, frankly, a little terrifying. But it doesn't have to be. Understanding the difference is your first step toward getting some clarity and peace of mind. In this video, we're going to clear up the confusion. We'll follow two people. Anne, who is dealing with the completely normal cognitive changes that come with aging, and Robert, who is showing the first subtle signs of dementia. By following their stories, we'll highlight the critical differences, show you what to look for, and explain what to do if you're concerned. Forgetting an appointment is annoying. Forgetting you ever had a daughter is devastating. One is a sign of a busy life and an aging brain. The other is a symptom of a disease that disrupts daily life. The distinction is absolutely critical, and by the end of this video, you'll have a much clearer understanding of where that line is drawn, all based on the latest medical expertise. First, let's meet Anne. At 78, Anne lives a full and busy life. She volunteers at the library, has a weekly card game with friends, and loves trying new recipes. But, as she'll tell you herself, her memory isn't quite what it used to be. Just last week, she spent a frantic 10 minutes looking for her reading glasses, only to find them sitting right on top of her head. Sometimes she'll be in the middle of a story, get interrupted, and then completely lose her train of thought. And yesterday, she called her grandson by her son's name, a slip-up she's made a few times. She also gets those tip-of-tongue moments, where a word she knows perfectly well just seems to disappear. She can describe it, she knows what it means, but the word itself is just out of reach. Is it frustrating? Absolutely. Is it a sign of dementia? No. This is what experts call normal age-related memory changes. Think of your brain as a library that's been collecting books for nearly 80 years. That library is packed. It's not that the books are gone. It just takes the librarian a little longer to sort through the crowded aisles to find the specific one you're looking for. Anne might forget the details of a conversation from last year, but she remembers having the conversation. She might misplace her keys, but she can usually retrace her steps to find them. Most importantly, these memory slips don't stop Anne from living her life. She still manages her finances, learns new card games, and can follow a complex recipe. Her judgment is solid, and while she might get a bit more irritable when her routine is thrown off, her core personality hasn't changed. These are the classic signs of normal, aging, occasional, frustrating memory lapses that don't really get in the way of your ability to function. Now, let's meet Robert, who is also 78. On the surface, he seems to be doing just fine. But his wife, Sarah, has been noticing changes that feel different and more worrying than Anne's occasional forgetfulness. Last month, a credit card bill arrived with charges for a subscription service Robert didn't remember buying. When Sarah asked him about it, he became uncharacteristically defensive and confused, with no memory of the online purchase at all. This wasn't just forgetting a detail. It was like the entire event never happened. This kind of memory loss, especially for recently learned information, is a common early sign of dementia. A few weeks later, Robert, a passionate cook his whole life, tried to make his signature lasagna. Sarah found him in the kitchen, just staring at the ingredients, visibly distressed. He couldn't remember the steps to a recipe he'd made countless times. This kind of difficulty completing familiar multi-step tasks is another red flag. But the most alarming incident happened last week. Robert went for his usual morning drive to the coffee shop, a route he's taken for 20 years. An hour later, Sarah got a call. Robert was parked on the side of a road just a few miles from home, completely lost and disoriented. This confusion with time and place, especially in a familiar area, points to a much deeper cognitive problem. Sarah has also noticed Robert becoming more withdrawn. He quit his weekly bowling league and sometimes seems anxious and suspicious for no reason. These shifts in mood and personality are a big deal because they are a real departure from the man he's always been. Robert's experiences are different from Anne's because they aren't just minor inconveniences. They are symptoms that are starting to disrupt his daily life and his ability to function safely on his own. Let's put these stories side by side to make the distinction really clear. Here are 5 key differences. First, memory loss that disrupts daily life. Anne might forget a name, but usually recalls it later. That's normal. Robert forgets the names of close family or major recent events, like his granddaughter's graduation, and doesn't remember them even when reminded. He might ask the same question over and over, just moments after getting the answer, because his brain isn't holding on to new information. Second, new challenges in planning and problem solving. Anne might make an occasional math mistake in her checkbook, but can find it and fix it. Robert, who once managed the family's investments, now struggles to even track monthly bills or follow a simple budget. A new difficulty with complex organizational tasks is a major warning sign. Third, trouble with language. Anne sometimes has to search for the right word, but she can still hold a conversation. Robert, on the other hand, often stops mid-sentence with no idea how to continue. He might struggle with vocabulary, calling something familiar like a watch, a hand clock, or find it hard to follow a conversation. Fourth, confusion with time or place. Anne might forget what day of the week it is for a moment, but she quickly figures it out. It's a temporary slip. Robert can lose track of dates, seasons, and the general passage of time. And as we saw, getting lost in a place he knows well is a significant indicator. And fifth, changes in mood and personality. As we get older, we can all get a little more set in our ways, but our core personality tends to stay the same. With dementia, a person's personality can change dramatically. Someone who was once outgoing can become withdrawn. A calm person might become easily agitated, anxious, or suspicious, often without any clear reason. It's so important to understand that dementia is not a normal part of aging. It's also not one single disease. Dementia is an umbrella term for a set of symptoms caused by diseases that physically damage the brain. These symptoms impact memory, thinking, and social abilities so severely that they interfere with daily life. Alzheimer's disease is the most common cause, but there are others, like vascular dementia, which is often related to strokes, Lewy body dementia, which can involve hallucinations, and frontotemporal dementia, which often affects personality and behavior more than memory in its early stages. The common thread is that these are progressive diseases. Unlike the fairly stable memory slips of normal aging, the symptoms of dementia slowly but surely get worse over time. What starts as a mild issue with a task can eventually become a complete inability to care for oneself. If Robert's story felt a little too familiar and you worried about yourself or someone you love, the single most important step you can take is to talk to a doctor. Please, don't try to diagnose this on your own. Why is this so critical? Because sometimes symptoms that look a lot like dementia are caused by something else entirely, are completely reversible. This could be anything from a vitamin B12 deficiency or a thyroid problem to a urinary tract infection, dehydration, or even a side effect from a medication. A doctor can run assessments and tests to figure out what's really going on. And getting a diagnosis, even if it is dementia, isn't an endpoint. It's a starting point. It's what allows you to access treatments that might slow the disease's progression, to make plans for the future, and to get the support you and your family will need. Taking that step isn't weakness. It's an act of strength and taking back control. Worrying about this can feel incredibly isolating, but you are not alone. Millions of families are going through this exact same thing. If you feel comfortable, please consider sharing a piece of your story in the comments below. You never know who you might encourage just by sharing what you've learned or how you've felt. Your experience might give someone else the courage they need to look for answers. And if you found this video helpful, please give it a like and subscribe. We're dedicated to providing clear, compassionate, and reliable information to help you navigate the journey of aging with confidence. In conclusion, is it old age or is it dementia? Normal aging, like Anne's story, involves occasional memory hiccups. The information is still there in your brain. It's just a bit slower to access sometimes. You can still learn, reason, and live your life independently. Dementia, as we saw with Robert, involves physical changes in the brain that cause a steady decline in your ability to remember, think, and function. It's defined by symptoms that get worse over time and truly disrupt daily life. The journey from worry to understanding starts with knowledge. By recognizing the difference between a simple senior moment and a genuine warning sign, you empower yourself. And remember, seeking help is the most powerful step you can take for your health and your future. Whatever you're facing, there is help, there is support, and there is hope.